Hey guys, Tomboy601, and today I have the perfect ship for all the potatoes out there. But before we do that, let's go ahead and talk comment of the day. Comment of the day goes to someone who leaves comment on one of our previous videos, and today's comment of the day goes out to BA Bad One. Not really a single comment, but just a string of comments. I think he recently found the channel and decided to watch a good chunk of videos and leave comments on a lot of them. So shout out to BA Bad One. Thank you so much for all of the comments. Now back to the video, and we are in the Primal. Now, when the Primal first came out, I had a little misstatement. I called it a New Mexico. Turns out, not a New Mexico. It is a New Mexico class ship, but it is in fact the Idaho. And if you know anything about Idaho, you know it's all about them potatoes. Speaking of which, DeGrasse takes a huge hit. Sadly, we didn't fire all of our guns on that first salvo, or else we would have probably been able to wipe him off the map. But he's definitely set up for a quick demise in the next salvo coming out. Anyways, Primal ship, of course, is one of the Kong ships. There are differences between it and the New Mexico. So the Idaho basically has increased AA, and I think it has a couple of decreased secondaries as its trade-off. Of course, increased AA is somewhat helpful right now, depending on your feeling on aircraft carriers. Of course, it's not like you get to see an aircraft carrier in every single match that you play, but it is nice to have that little bit of extra AA security, AA coverage when you are playing in this ship. Anyways, we're here over on Shards, and it's time to go ahead and play a decent match in the Primal. Molotov is at long range, and we have a sister ship of ours, the New Mexico, also defending the cap. Thankfully for us, the two destroyers did not spawn on our side, or else we would be very much in danger. But of course, we did see that, hey, there was 3 ships in the area. 3 ships is what is generally going to spawn in each lane. So if you can see 3 ships, you know that there's no destroyers hiding out, waiting to ambush you. And now we're just kind of waiting on the New Mexico. Of course, Primal / Idaho, the big thing with American ships is, or at least the mid-tier American ships, is they are slow. They give you plenty of time to think out your move, because they are lumbering is the nice word to say. They don't exactly get to the battle on time. They do have decent guns, like long range and decent as far as firepower goes, and when you can hit someone's citadel, you can absolutely reach out and touch them, which is why I do find myself partial to the American ships. New Mexico, we're slowly making our way to his broadside. Like, this is what I'm talking about. It is lumbering. We're at 16 knots, which is a quarter speed for like some destroyers. So some destroyers are able to lay smoke at this speed, and we are very, very slowly heading towards the New Mexico. Anyways, I believe we're coming up to where we're able to get a decent salvo. Of course, we're able to angle in fairly decently against the New Mexico. That is one of the nice things, is you do have the time to like think about what you need to do. New Mexico goes down to another Citadel shot. That's 2 kills. We're up to 82,000 damage for the game. And now it's time to turn our attention to this Molotov and hopefully capture the C point. Our friendly battleship decided to go the long way around. He's kind of dueling it out with other people, and so did our cruiser. So it really is only us in the cap. They surprisingly didn't have the advantage. Generally, the side that spawns on the open side of Inshard, so either the red team at C or our team at A, will generally have the advantage, and that's because you're not being funneled like the other team is through certain choke points, right? You can't lay torpedoes to go through those choke points, because you know ships are going through those. You should be able to hit them with torps if you're able to be stealthy, or you can at least angle yourself knowing where the ship is going to come from, and it's going to come at a very specific angle, where if you're on the opposite side of that, if you're the red team here at C or our team at A, you can go ahead and set up crossfires because you know where people are coming from. But surprisingly, neither us nor the red team won what would be the easier side for us to win, which is somewhat surprising. That usually doesn't happen, but you know, if you have experienced players on the other team, it is something that can. We really didn't play it very smart. We sailed straight through the middle. They just chose not to really push into sea to be able to use those islands for protection. Molotov is about to go down. He's sideways, and hopefully he'll be our third and final kill if no one steals it, because and just lose it. And there goes our chance at a Kraken. And sadly, we are now also, we were not able to capture C, which is going to start to give us some problems. And unfortunately, our cruiser doesn't really recognize my mistake and try to help fix it. He goes off and starts following me as well. Our friendly New Mexico goes down. We're gonna head towards B, just because it's at this point it's a 4-on-4 matchup. We know they're gonna try to push into B, so if we can go ahead and get a couple of salvos down on ships trying to capture B, it will end up paying us dividends if we can go ahead and start chunking away at the enemy damage. We do have 98,000 damage so far, so really decent so far. 2 kills, and we're on the hunt to expand it. Now, while we have this slight lull, I realize I never really talk about Commander and setup for these quick matches. Nagato does pop up, so I might as well go over who I'm using. Right now on the ship, I do have good old Sims with the inspirations of Ciliax and Cunningham, and then I run Flammable Cannoneer, Gyrating Drill Bits, Marksmanship, and Emergency Specialist with Will to Rebuild. And of course, the New Mexico family of ships does not get main battery mod 1. You can't buff your dispersion. So we have main battery mod 2, which is going to help with that turret traverse speed, and then also steering gears as the other mod, just to assist with being able to rotate the ship to angle in and out. And at this point, Nagato starts to go nose in. We did get one decent salvo off on him, and he's starting to realize that we would be a threat to him. Incoming salvo from a different battleship on us, and thankfully it doesn't hit us for too bad. It's another New Mexico. We're going to go ahead and try to start turning in and starting to try to get an angle on this Nagato. Of course, our other battleship is out on the other side, so he has a better angle right now on Nagato, but we are going to start just trying to see what damage we can, and then switching over to HE, because it's clear that AP not really going to do too much. As I say that, of course, we get 7,000 damage from it, but HE is going to be our better play. We do know there's a destroyer in the area. We do know that the Nagato is going to stay somewhat nose on, so as far as a better and more guaranteed acquisition of damage, the HE is going to be the preferred shell. And of course, it never hurts to switch up shells. You just need to kind of really plan ahead on it for battleships, because it is for us a 35-second reload, which is a long time. We do end up getting the hit there, 6k damage, and Nagato goes down, bringing us all tied up on ships. We have a battleship, a cruiser, and a destroyer, and they have a battleship, 2 battleships and a destroyer. Our destroyer going to cap C, which is the smart play. We as a team, specifically, definitely me and probably my whole side, failed to play the objective at that point and to be able to capture C. And now it is just a manner of trying to survive and take on this full health New Mexico, the destroyer that we know is around, and also find where this mystery 3rd battleship is. Now, coming up is probably where I make the biggest mistake of the game. Instead of keeping the HE loaded, I go ahead and switch over to AP, thinking this New Mexico is going to be somewhat broadside when I come around the corner. But as we can see, literally as I switch over to AP, he starts to turn in. Also, we get a quick glimpse of a destroyer, and we know what he's going to be doing, especially since we are spotted. So we're just going to go ahead and start turning out, and hopefully the damage we get from being somewhat broadside to the New Mexico doesn't fully chunk us. Thankfully, the rock takes most of the damage there, and we are saved, and our guns come in just in time to be able to start shooting at the Benson. We take a decent amount of damage to him. Had we kept that HE loaded, we definitely would be in a better position. And as he is a destroyer, we know what he's up to when he's fully perpendicular to us. He's laying torpedoes. Thankfully, we only take 2 of them, but that does take a significant chunk of our damage. Thankfully, we do have Will to Rebuild active, and it is now helping us regain some of our health, and we are now sailing away, and unfortunately, fully broadside to a Queen Elizabeth. Our only advantage, of course, being the fact that we do have Will to Rebuild as of currently, and that's going to help us maintain health as we start to duke it out between the Queen Elizabeth and ourselves. Right now, Queen Elizabeth is going to be the more target rich, the better play for us to use. Also, thankfully, that New Mexico has hidden himself away behind that last island, so we are somewhat protected, and we should be fairly all sorted, if you will. Queen Elizabeth takes a blind shot at the destroyer, which I do have to give him props for. Like, oh, I know he's laying smoke. He has to be the one laying smoke. Might as well try to go for the blind fire. Thankfully he didn't hit him, and we take another good chunk out of him, getting the Confederate for the game, which is always a nice thing to get the good old medals. Damage up to 150k. Queen Elizabeth still deciding to sail somewhat sideways, and we're going to go ahead and go nose in, simply because that cruiser decided not to kind of stick in the smoke or be in our area, and as a result, we now have to be very precious about our 4,000 hit points that we have left. Thankfully, we do drop spot thanks to the smoke, and we are going to hold our guns until we can get as many as we can online, just so that if he does have his guns loaded, he's not able to fire at us. Thankfully, he goes down, we drop spot, and now we just need to get ourselves rotated around and ready to take on a New Mexico with, well, a pretty full hit points bar. At this point, I think what we have is about equivalent to what he has lost, and he has not lost much, so this is definitely going to be a challenge. At this point, it's all about swinging around and trying to get angled in and trying to do some damage while he is not perfectly angled, and sadly, he knows what he is doing. So this is going to be a little bit of a challenge. As we sail in, I just want to say happy Friday to everyone. For me, it's Friday, and I hope everyone has a good weekend ahead of them. If you're bored this evening, I do always stream over on Twitch around 7 p.m. Eastern time. Come join me over there. It's usually a pretty good time. We usually have some pretty good time at the Warships, so do come join me over there. New Mexico turns out, and we're like, oh, that's somewhat, maybe we can do it. We have started just to load HE, because at this point, we know HE is going to be the most effective, and our main chance, though we are switching now back over to AP, because, you know, both of us are lightning fast ships, as I'm sure you can tell. We are some of the fastest ships in the game, and we're just closing so quickly that we're going to need the AP loaded, and this is where I make my main mistake. Now, if I was playing this smartly to win, I probably should have just turned in and tried to start the ram. But I chose to kind of turn out and try to get another full salvo on it, and that is going to cost me dearly. And now, as I turn in, I'm like, oh, wait, we're 1v1. If we take each other out, then we're gonna both end up getting a Kraken, which would be nice. But sadly, I made the mistake of turning out again. That was the second probably big mistake of this match. His secondaries finished it off, giving him the Kraken. We were one short of the Kraken, but still decent game. If you liked the video, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya.